tinotaura hondo kana kuitaura kuti hatinoita zvakati nekuti unenge usati wabverenyurwa.
Mhuri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano paZimu News Update, apo patinode kupa mafirst hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So kana uri mutsva usabve pano usina kusubscribe, kulike nekushare. Sekuziva kwatiri kuita kuti nawe constitutional amendment bill number 3 yakonzeresa madivision mukati mebato reZanu PF, apo patiri kuona vakuru vachitaura vanoti mutambo unenge watsvuka ropa, misasa wafirisitia yopazika parezvino, apo patiri kuona Vice President Constantino Chiwenga vari kupa yambiro sort of like kunana tungwarara ndovanonga vachinyanya kulaudhaka sort of like vachitonga sort of like vanoziva stereki vari kutaura kutoti no, unenge usati wabvaranyurwa chaicha zvakabvaranyurwa unopinda ma1. Muri yeZimbabwe tichambodzoka muna 2017 tiri kuona kuti vaMugabe vanga vapa umambo kuna Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, vakatadza vakanzwira tsitsi President Emerson Mnangagwa vakavadzorera. Tiri kuona kuti President Emerson Mnangagwa vanga vagadzira gwara rakanaka dai vakarifambisa nemwazvo, because tiri kuona kuti vaMugabe vainge vatadza kurana nyika iyi vachinyengedzwa nechikwata cheG40 chakafanana naWalter Muzembi, ana Kasukuwere, ana Chombo, ana Jonathan Moyo nevanwe vanhu vakasiyana siyana. So tiri kuona panapa vaMnangagwa zvadzokorodzeka futi vava kunyengedzwa wani ustream ravo rana Chivayo, ana Delishi Ngwaya, ana Kudata Gwerei, ana Scott Sakupkanya nevamwe vanhu vakasiyana siyana kusanganisira nana Tungwarara, because kuna vamwe vanhu zvafana nguva yaMugabe chaicho kwakutone zvimwe zvigananda zvisikaganzi zvisikabudi pachena sort of like ana Bonyongwe vaya zvazvo zvigananda zvihombe nguva yana Mugabe zvihombe chaicho zvekutoti ainge ari ma1 chaicho, but vanenge vasikabudi pachena sort of like nowadays nguva yaPresident Emerson Mnangagwa kune vamwe vari kutotora mabillions nemamillions akafanana naana Kudata Gwerei nana Scott Sakupkanya nachi, but inawe kuti havalaud chete mari inenge iri kutorwa yakavandisa zvekuti mari iyoyo yakada kuiswa munyika, nyika inobudirira muri yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona panapa pari kutaurwa kunzi zvakaimbwa naEnzo Aisha kuti kana usina kusimba tiza, because tiri kuona kuti misasa iwafirisitia yakuda kupazika pari zvino, because now vakuchitinongedzana nemazita manje kuti iwe nhingi, because mazuva ekutanga takaona kuti vakatanga vanhu vachitenderedzana vachiita se vachididimwa, but now vakunongana nemazita. Ndonga muri kuona ana Christopher Mutsvangwa kana vachitaura vanenge vachitaura kuti Chiwenga, vachitobudisa zita kuti Chiwenga. Tiri kuona kuti ana Temba Muliswa kana vachitaura vanenge vachitotaura kuti Vice President Constantino Chiwenga vakazodai. Muri yeZimbabwe zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka. Vari kutaurawo Chiwenga faction iri kutaurawo Mnangagwa, vanenge vachitotaura kuti vaMnangagwa vari kubhaiza apa neapa. Zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka. So tiri kuona nhau Constitutional Court haina kumira zvakanaka, because tiri kuona kuti judgment iri kudhimandwa kusanganisira Chiwenga faction, kusanganisira ma-citizen, ma-war veteran, ma-ex-combatants, ma-retired generals. Vari kuti judgment iyoyo tiri kutoida, because hatisi kuda chigumba strategy iya yekutoti kana vanhu vachinge vavhota uenda nemavotes kuimba yezeke then wozo announce. Hakuna kana munhu anonga akamirira opposition, hakuna kana munhu anonga achitomboziva kuti chii chiri kuitika chinova chiricho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti it's obvious vanongwa isana ivo pachezvavo. Sezvetinoziva kuti muri yeZimbabwe ma-election emuno munyika yeZimbabwe, although Apostle Chiwenga vakataura kuti kwanga kwakuwesta mari nemaresources, because tiri kuona kuti vanga vakungoita zvavanoda. Even kana ivo vakavhoterwa vakangoenda kungogura chigumba mari kutoti chigumba ndiise pa-MPG chimwe aingokuisa achitobvisa munhu avhoterwa, because zvanga zvisina basa zvokuti muno munyika yeZimbabwe munge muchiitwa ma-election. Chinongodiwa chete muno munyika yeZimbabwe, because tiri kuona kuti kana wakapinda nekuu unongovhiswa nekuu, munhu wese akapinda nekuu anongovhiswa nekuu muri yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona kuti zvinhu zviri kuitika izvi dai zvimwe ndizvo zvakaitika sort of like zviri kuitika kunana Burkina Faso, kuti in 4 years vakatora nyika nekuu, but vanhu havakuti haisiri kuu yekuBurkina Faso, vakuti vakatora nyika kuda kuti vaivandudze vaigadzise, because tiri kuona kuti in 4 years muri yeZimbabwe pavakwa 18 mabig hospitals, 18 mabig hospitals wakapa vagari ndofunga mahectares ameno kuti isi inenge 482,000 hectares dzakapiwa vagari kuti vange vachidevelopa, vanokwanisa kurima, vange vachiita zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana. Tiri kuona kuti government cheche yakataura kuti haichapi tenda kuvanhu. Minister of Roads ndiwo vanoemploya vanhu nechichi, kuna kune management nechichi, kana kuri kugadzwa maroads, kuna kuti management ndezvinhu zvakasiyana siyana nechichi chimwe sort of like inyika inenge itonga sort of like iri kurana sort of like company muri yeZimbabwe ende ichienda mberi, because tiri kuona kuti kana ari Minister of Transport ndiye anoemploya vanhu kune mamanagers ake, masupervisors ake nezvinhu zvakasiyana siyana zvichibva kugovernment, inoti zvichibva kutenda yeumwe munhu sezvinoitwa kudzimwe nyika. Chinova chiri chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti ndo zviri kudiwa muno munyika yezimbabwe, kuti dai matenda muno muzvidzitori wese mhuri yezimbabwe tiri kuona kuti umwe munhu anogona kupiwa tenda yegwanda solar project haana kana nechatomboisa kana 1 kudzimwe nyika. Kutori nani kwekuti nyange ukapiwa 5 million ka unogona kushandisawo kana kuti 1 million yacho wodya 4 million, but hazvitomboite futi kudzimwe nyika unodya 1 million oshandisa 4 million. Tiri kuona kuti munomu panogona kutoshanda kana panongoiswa chibillboard chete chakanyorwa kunzi gwanda solar project chete zvatopera mhuri yezimbabwe. So tiri kuti tenzo makomrade tinopa
as well as added remarks that speaks to maybe putting this to the people. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at something that the Constitutional Court has said before.
Right. There's precedent.
Yes, and they are correct. Because they cannot turn around and stop a process of another arm of government. They don't have oversight over that.
Mm-hmm.
So they are correct, not because of whatever is going on, but because they've said it before in other in other court cases at the Constitutional Court.
Right.
Timing was crucial. You can't stop the process. You can't judge on the process because the aspect of the process is unless the process is complete. They are correct on that. That is our fault. Because judgments are out there saying the same thing. Unless we understood that the courts are going to say something different today, contradicting everything that they have said before. Timing, everyone knew that.
Yeah, because I remember us, having a conversation around, that thing. I think you were even part and parcel of that conversation, making, that argument.
Yes, that was on the PVO bill. So they've said it. They've said the precedence on the PVO bill. But at this moment in time, it seems we are in the Hail Mary episode on our side. Like there's 5 minutes left in a football game, just kick it forward, Uncle Jade. Whether there are people forward, no one cares. Maybe there will be. Maybe something will happen. But unfortunately, these things cannot be taken like that.
Right.
Secondly, we have shot ourselves on the foot.
How so?
And this is political. Whereby we came out with this.
I've lost you there. Zeti, can you hear me? Right, okay. Let me bring you back. Yeah. Right. Can you hear me? Zeti, take the mic. Citizen Zeti. Yeah, I brought you back, Zeti. I brought you back. Open your mic.
Oh, sorry, Uncle. I was sending the message, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
So I was saying that we shot ourselves in the foot. And that we blame people that do messaging. People that think that messaging can be done by everyone without understanding the consequences of messaging. Okay. Just because you can speak English, it does not mean that now you're a PA master.
Right.
Whereby we came in the beginning and said that what is needed here was a referendum. And that was wrong. there is nowhere in our constitution that is true at. That is as constitutional as ED trying to extend his term without a referendum, meaning having a referendum in front of this bill or any time on this process is the same sin, because our constitution is very clear. If you want to extend a term of anyone, parliament, president, councillor, you need to have two bills separate. One to extend the term, and then it has its own referendum. That's a process. It's not a referendum does not stand by itself. It stands in a process. The process starts off by having a draft bill that states that you need to extend the term of this entity, meaning the presidency. And then, if you want the president to enjoy that extension, you need to have another bill that turns around and is drafted and says that this person should enjoy, and that again should be taken in a referendum. So it is not just a referendum. It is a whole process that includes a referendum. And it has to happen twice. But unfortunately, because I think sometimes political people think that we are stupid and that things need to be so simplified that the answer that they've simplified becomes so wrong. Whereby if the answer is supposed to be 22, they have dumbed it down so much that now when it comes and it's messaged to me and you, it is just 2. So that we can catch it. But now people have turned around and gone with that. And ZANU-PF has preempted that. This is why now a constitutional judge in a constitutional court case can propose something that is not even in the constitution as maybe a remedy to this thing. This thing has no remedy according to our own constitution. The only remedy for this is for it to be cancelled. And the whole new process, according to the constitution, they have to draft a bill, put it through, passes with 3/4, all public hearings, and then here's the referendum. Come back again, draft another bill, goes through public consultation, goes through a 3/4 majority in both houses, and then here's another referendum. But because we do not like to listen, now we have created 2 wrongs and they are reacting to it. Now everyone who has been shouting referendum, he has to come back quickly and tell people what I just said. Or they will stick to their guns. Because again, they still have the mentality of 2023 of thinking that they have the numbers. Uncles, in an authoritarian regime, You might have the numbers, but if the numbers are counted in a system that is controlled by the authoritarian regime, your numbers are nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because you might pump the numbers in. They can pump more numbers. We saw that with the public hearings. In the public hearings, we had the numbers. They had the system. And you saw what happened. And that is a lesson that we have had for 46 years, whereby a system, you cannot, I do not know who told them that you can overhaul a system simply by numbers. That is an impossibility, especially when you do not control anything. So now you are starting to have a judge repeating what we were told and what majority of the people this side of the fence were crying for. And the judge knows that it's unconstitutional. And that is scary. That means they just turned around and checkmate us here. They just checkmate us. And we have to have a response to it very quick. But the response now will have to do with the decolonization of everyone based on a narrative that was set by those that have simplified something and made it a lie. The ability to say to people, simple messaging, what is needed here is a referendum. That's not what was needed here. What was needed here was this thing is illegal. It could have taken us time to understand, yes, but it would have not taken us more than 3 months. We would have understood that this whole process is illegal. It does not have any other cure. Even a referendum cannot cure it. If you put a referendum in front of it, you have done the same thing as it did. You have looked at the Constitution and you have read the procedure of doing this thing, and you have decided to create your own one. So we cannot now, seeing that we are finding ourselves, or the majority of the people are now finding themselves in the same WhatsApp group as ZANU-PF. They are interpreting the Constitution their way to suit themselves. That is nothing in the Constitution. This side of the fence, we are starting to have a large group of people, powerful voices, followed by a lot of people reading the Constitution, interpreting it themselves to meet their own thing. And both of them are wrong. And we've been saying this since get-go. But when we were saying it, it seemed like we are being not progressive. Yet in truth, you cannot stand, Uncle Jade, on the word of God, according to the Bible, and yet create your own words inside the verses that you are quoting, and then try and blame the devil that has misquoted and created his own words in the same thing to benefit themselves. You are in the same WhatsApp group. Two wrongs cannot make a right here. And they just checkmate us. And it shows that we're not serious. We're willing to play short and long with something that is so delicate. And we have said it. You cannot resist an authoritarian regime outside of the truth. You cannot bring strategies of politics that have no moral grounding when you are fighting an entity that lives on lies. Because an entity that lives on lies, it can lie 24/7, get caught 100 times. It does not care. That's its character. But a single lie that you say, or a single misstep that you do, will cost you a lot this side of the fence. Because you have said you are standing on the moral side. So we cannot stand. Now, if the court judgment has spotted that, others will start to say, that's an advantage. Let it be like that. We need the referendum. We need the referendum. ZANU is going to give it to us. But there is nowhere in the Constitution of Zimbabwe that says that process that this bill has gone through requires a referendum. Nowhere.
Right. So, this idea that probably, this judge here, this justice is saying, okay, we hear you, we understand some of these things, and given how this thing has been done, probably the issues that you are raising here, these are issues that are better settled, by the people. Why not call for a referendum to checkmate, this thing? So you are saying that right there is even a wrong remedy. There's no kind of referendum that is going to be curing, this.
It is no. It is not even a wrong remedy. It is in the same level as what ZANU-PF has done. It is on the same scale of wrong.
Right.
It is unconstitutional to give a referendum to this bill and give the people of Zimbabwe to judge whether this thing is a yes or no. Why? Because the people of Zimbabwe, Uncle Jade, have pointed out that if you want to change a term limit provision, you need to turn around and create two bills.
Right.
One bill is to change the term limit, yes? And put that, let's say Uncle Jade is the president. We want to change the president of Uncle Jade or presidency. We know that is Uncle Jade from 2 years, for 5 years, and add 2 more years. It goes through a draft. It goes through public hearings. It goes through 3/4 vote. And then it comes to the people to say yes or no. Now, if you want Uncle Jade to enjoy that, because he can't enjoy it in the current constitution that we have, you need to put another draft to say we want Uncle Jade now